Games labeled Soulslike tend to be treated as more of a joke than anything nowadays due to how overabundant the genre has become. Aside from a few similarities, many share dark and gloomy themes, which limits their distinction. At least, that was my case with them. My tiredness of the genre results from those core themes. So the Papuya-developed Little Witch Nobeta surprised me with its anime cast and action-centric gameplay systems. When it comes to the overall experience, it may not stand toe-to-toe with the greats of the genre, but it manages to offer exceptionally entertaining bouts of gameplay. Little Witch Nobeta follows the titular protagonist as she finds and explores a castle to discover the meaning of her existence. Early on her journey, she finds a talking black cat with an attitude who acts as a guide toward the castle's throne. The story here, while an occasional focus, is not particularly compelling since the dialogue is a hit or miss. A few interactions between Nobeta and the individuals she meets in the castle are memorable, yet the dynamic she has with the black cat feels somewhat forced, with its intended ending closure not quite hitting the nail on the head. Still, the gameplay is the primary focus here, and Little Witch Nobeta's challenge genuinely caught me off guard. The charming witch will frequently face foes, and her methods of attacking include casting spells and swinging her staff, with spells being the primary means of taking down enemies. Nobeta has multiple upgradable elements found while exploring, with standard shots and powerful chants that take time to cast in the opening of the adventure. The provided moveset is limited, but it never becomes especially dull since, as the enemies are slain, they drop a currency used to upgrade various stats of Nobeta, such as leveling up her offense and defense, magical damage, and even casting speed. As a result, the gameplay loop, while predictable, is very fulfilling. Players can grind on enemies as often as they like, and as a narrator's note, I'm not sure why Bailey wrote it like that, but back to the review. Thanks to the checkpoint statues resetting their spawns, the drop rate of the currency and the rates required to upgrade are surprisingly generous, so there are no high walls to overcome. The player sets the pacing of the adventure, so there's no reason to rush into a fight with a boss underpowered. These boss battles are where the game truly shines, since they're immensely well designed and legitimately difficult. Their telegraphs are apparent, no moveset felt like it arose from nowhere, and when taking the boss's enhanced movesets of their later phases into account, you'll likely face death a fair number of times. The cathartic process of trial and error in the Souls-like genre never grows old for me, and if you're a fan too, you'll undoubtedly have fun here. Granted, the low amount of bosses is disappointing, but that also makes each encounter far more distinct. Exploration is the other vital area of gameplay. Movement is highly emphasized with light platforming, and Nobeta is quite the agile youth. For instance, she can jump and attack with her staff in the air to gain additional airtime, which is vital for some of the treasure that aren't so straightforward to reach. Additionally, she quickly gains a double jump to help make certain sections less precise. Like the combat mechanics, there isn't much to say or learn about how movement works, but it gets the job done and it never overtly felt frustrating. If anything, you may have early difficulties getting used to the title's sense of gravity since it is far more weighted than I expected. One essential suggestion that I have to make is to alter the camera zoom in the settings menu. When the game begins, the camera is humorously close to Nobeta's character model. I genuinely have no idea why that's the default, but I'm sure others might. Regardless, this can be changed whenever you desire, so it's not a sticking point. Moving on, while I had an enjoyable time, its brief length ultimately soured me on the experience somewhat. I don't necessarily believe that length determines the quality of a game, but in the case of this title, I felt like it never managed to reach its full potential. The puzzles and platforming, for example, were never pushed to the limits in the realm of level design creativity. This philosophy also holds true for the boss battles, which were satisfactory, yet had me wishing for more. In a sense, I suppose the latter point is a negative since not every game has to push you beyond your limits. Still, when you're left hungry for more, reception can be mixed. Little Witch Nobeta is a pretty fun Souls-like that doesn't use its presentation as bait to veil a shoddy experience. Its well-crafted boss battles, fulfilling progression, and intricate exploration illustrate thought-provoking gameplay design. Even when considering a lack of narrative and the playtime clocking in at around 10 hours if you take your time to accomplish everything, this is definitely an experience for fans of the genre, and they should probably pick it up. Of course, the potent ambience and cute main character also help matters. Noisy Pixel is giving Little Witch Nobeta a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. NoisyPixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.